Hi guys, welcome to the Sling Den. I am back. It's the first one of 2024. I've got a really special guest today, a true OG in the game, and I'm really excited to speak to him. So let's get straight into it. Here I have Ian Jones. How you doing, Ian?
Good morning, Benji. All right, sir?
It is a good morning. It is quite an early one, isn't it? We scheduled just quite early. I've got my coffee ready to go. But yeah, how are you doing, mate?
I'm okay, mate. Getting ready like we usually are on a Sunday. We're meeting up lads down at the Sheffield shoot later on and have a bit of banter between ourselves.
Perfect. So, Ian, I know a lot of people will know who you are. I've got quite a funny story to tell. Before I'd done my first ever episode, it was with Mark from ATO, and I had this man message me out of the blue, and he's saying, "Good luck to everything. I like what you're doing." I thought, "Oh, this Ian Jones, man, what a nice guy." And I actually brought it up in the first episode, and I feel so silly now because I didn't have a clue who you were. And now we are sat here talking, and I know you're a real true OG of the game. But just explain, how long you've been around and what you've done, what experiences you've got, and give the listeners and the watchers a quick idea of who Ian Jones is.
Started catapulting years and years ago. Never really got into it, and then I saw the Chatsworth Game Fair, and at the Chatsworth Game Fair in September every year, there was a catapult show with a big shield that's been running since the early 80s. So we're shooting a paper target, 7 shots, and whoever got the highest score over the weekend, you had to go back on the Sunday and have it out for the trophy. I didn't do it the first year. The second year, I practiced a lot harder and I won it, and that just started the ball. So yeah, Chatsworth was the place.
And how long ago was that, and what sort of frames were you shooting back then?
That were in 2012. I won it. I won it again in 2013, and then Mark Jumbo Willis, Miracle Sidekick, he won it. But every year it just got harder and harder because you have to score. The scores out of 70 was like 40s, 50s, and it wasn't so bad. And then everybody started coming, and then it was, if you don't get 70 out of 70 just to qualify for finals, forget it. You have to start again. And it became really a trophy that everybody wanted. So yeah, I did that. Then Gamekeeper Johnny started coming. He smashed it. I think he's got his names on a few times. There's some good English shooters that's got the name on the trophy. So for the English, especially for the Northern lot, the Chatsworth Shield, it means a lot if you can win it. And that's where it all started.
And then since then, what sort of journey have you been on? What sort of things have you done?
I've just had a crazy merry-go-round of beer gardens, pub beer gardens, leisure centres, aerodromes, boxing rings, and just tried to put shoots on all over. I mean, the first time I ever put a shoot on at Sheffield, we had it in a pub beer garden. Yeah, it was crazy, mate. Mick, Jumbo, all lads got together. Come on, we can do it. And we thought, I bet only a few people will come. Well, I've got pictures. You take pictures yourself. There were about 80 or 90 people. And we thought, wow, this could be something really, really good. And then we had the conversation about what we're going to shoot at, what targets we're going to shoot at, what distance we're going to shoot at, and it just went ballistic from there. So from 2012, I've held a competition or two competitions every year. So we sometimes have an indoor shoot, we have an outdoor shoot at Harrogate, at Hunters Course in Harrogate, at Blenheim Rocks, and we hire like a wood art. We have a Hunters Course there. It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. As you know, Benji, it's what a wonderful sport to be in. But who'd think that a piece of stick and a bit of elastic could fetch all these people together? It's amazing. I love it.
That's it. And it's not just guys from the UK, is it? Because, I got told a really good story from a one Moan Waller who appeared on the Sling Den on the last episode. And he had, quite a few things to say. He said you kind of brought him over, got him drunk, and there was a big party. Is there any truth to
that? Moan, it was your fault, not mine. And it was Gamekeeper Johns as well, and Lips, and Marcus, and some other lads. Yeah, I saw him on Facebook. And listen, I'm just here to get everybody into it, no matter if you're a beginner or you're a professional. And it's not just about shooting the catapult. To me, it's about getting out and making sure that you're with your friends and making sure that your friends are all right. Call them up, ask them if they're coming out. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't hurt. You know what I mean? That's what I'm more into, about making sure that all lads are out and everybody's having a good time. Yeah.
And, we spoke about that over the phone, didn't we? And you said, you're a big advocate for sort of like men's mental health and stuff, and just getting people out, especially when we're doing like these hunters courses and stuff like that, where you're outdoors, you're in nature, it's, a bit of peace and quiet, you're around good blokes, having a good laugh, shooting a catapult. There's that side to it, which, is really, really good. And, I even get that just from going out on my own and shooting a catapult. So I can imagine what it's like in a setting where there's a bunch of fellas who are like-minded. And then, I think a lot of people are probably a little bit worried about getting into competition shooting because of the competitiveness. But as you said, there's a little bit for everyone. You don't have to be an experienced shooter to go along and have a go, right?
Just for instance, I had a competition at Sheffield once, and I went outside just to make sure everything were all right. Went outside, there were a lady and a gentleman there, Mr. and Mrs. Wick, Mick and Nina. Went outside, spoke to them, just said, hello, is everything all right? And I said, where have you come from? And they went, Southern London. And I said, what, you drove up here? And they went, yeah, we wanted to meet you. And I went, come on, get in. And they ended up being so close friends to me that they ended up coming back to Sheffield, getting married at Sheffield, and asking me and my wife to be witnesses. You know what I mean? So it's just, you've got to be right with each other and try and welcome people into it. But I'm sorry if I went off the subject, but Moan, right. I saw Moan, saw it what we were doing, and we were having a bit of a bad time. I knew we were into catapults. Sent like a message, come on, Moan, here's a t-shirt, crack on, come with us, you'll have a right time. Next minute, crazy man's phoning me. I'm on my way, I'm coming, get ready. But yeah, we had a very, very, very good time, mate. And I'm sure that Moan really, I know he does, I know he loves it. The first chance he could get, he'll be back with a Queen Bee. And before you know it, they'll both be coming and shooting with me.
Perfect. And I've got some questions at the end, which usually when I get questions, they're real directed questions. And I've got some of them, but I've also got some which seems like an opening to a story of some sort. So I'm sure there's a lot of stories and, a lot of experiences you've had. But if there's one that kind of stands out, not from a competitive perspective in terms of achievements, but just, is it a heartwarming kind of thing? As you said there, your two friends there that you were a witness to the marriage, that, that's quite a good story. What other kind of experiences have you had? What has shooting done for you? And what stories have you got to tell about that?
Hopefully, what it was when I went to Italy and I shot in the World Cup in Italy, and I met the people in Italy, changed my life forever. It just, I just wanted to be more like them people. Just nice, genuine, down to earth people, to the point where Gianluca, Mama, Papa, I've got my own family over there. I absolutely adore them like my own family. Made such an impact on my life. Every time I go on holiday, I don't go anywhere else. I go back to Gualdo. I go back to the place where the World Cup is. I'm not interested in going anywhere else. My wife goes crazy with me about it. Are we going on out? Yeah, we're going to Gualdo. Yeah. So, yeah, some of the things we've done, like we did a charity event for a little girl up in Newcastle, and we all drove up to Newcastle and had a day for her, raise some money for her. She went very well. And we ended up getting people from Belgium coming, phoning me up. what's this little girl? What's happening? Oh, she's not very well. She needs some money. Let's do a charity day at Writing. We'll see you there. Do you know what I mean? Peaceful Elastic and Peaceful Wood that fetched all these people together to help a little girl. I love it. It's brilliant.
And these are the things which should be highlighted, shouldn't it? I know we've seen a thing recently where there's a petition to ban catapults, because a bunch of Muppets are going around doing things they shouldn't be. There's swans being killed and things like that. And, it's stories like that. And, everything that you've just mentioned there, and over the last 10 minutes, everything we've been speaking about, this is what it should be about, and I know we got our mooching scene and all that sort of stuff. And, I'm big into that myself. I believe in getting something for the pot, and all that sort of stuff. Managing to do that with a catapult, thumbs up, fantastic. But, these thugs going out doing stupid things, it really is sad to see, because you highlight such a good point on what it really should be about.
I think, listen, I'm guilty to it myself. Everybody's done it. We can't say we haven't. We've all been and we've shot something and taken it home, whether or not we've had permission or we haven't. As children, we've all done something. But this is where we are. We've come to a point now where if we want to push it forward, the sport, we can't be seen in that kind of group. Do you know? I mean, I know it sounds horrible to some people. I get people say to me now, "We don't want to come to the show." It's the fun's been taken out of it, should we say, the laugh, the crack and everything. And they say that it's a bit too serious, and they like the days when it wasn't as serious. But if we want to push the sport forward, we've got to become more professional into it. So it can't be seen to be going on private land, shooting out of car windows, etc., etc. Unfortunately, it's if we want the sport to go forward, we've got to take the professional side of it.
I agree. And then the next bit is just about you, because I always ask the guests what sort of setup they like. And I can imagine over the years you've tried out many different things. A shake of the head there. I mean, I've only been in it a couple of years, and my head's already like, I just want to stop delving into all these different things, whether it be tapers, ammo, frames, all these sort of things. But we can't help ourselves. We always want to try different things out. Talk a little bit about what that's been like over the years. What have you picked up, put down, and what are you with today?
Harpoon elastic. Should we start with that one? Harpoon elastic. So let's think to yourself, right, how can we make the ball go quicker? Yeah, we'll get an 8mm ball and we'll try it with harpoon elastic and see how far that goes. Yeah, that didn't work. I tried it all, rubber bands, elastic frames, honestly. And I would like to thank my wife for all the places that I've taken to her around the world, and she's been the only lady there, sat in a sports hall in France, for instance, or Italy, being the only lady there, and she's been good to all lads. That honestly, Benji, I've had hundreds of people come to my house and sleep on the floor in the spare bedroom. Everybody's been welcome, and it's all because of the catapults. And she's fed them, she's watered them. Everybody will tell you about her anyway. But yeah, but thanks, Lee. Going back to catapults, this is what I'm on at the moment, but I've been on it for such a long time now. This is a guy from England called Martin Coleman. Is all UK guys know him. He is a very, very renowned natty maker. It's the only thing to shoot with BSB 5.5. My draw, everybody will tell you, I don't even know what my draw is, Ben. Honestly, brother, I get people said to me, how long is your draw? I took a picture of that with a load of pennies rolling along the side of it and put his 21. I put his 21 pence long. That's how long the draw is. With a wasp pouch, 9.5 steel balls. Whether or not I'm hunting or I'm in a competition, that's all I use. That's all. But going back to what I started with Dan Kung, Sniper. I've had them all. I've tried everything. I've got a suitcase upstairs, my kitchen wall. Have you seen those pictures? But she made me take them all down. I had a full wall of catapults. Yeah, it means a lot to me. There's what have I got here? Yeah, this is a Kenji Suzuki from China with a bullet in. That's another one that I sometimes have a play with, but it's very rare that I shoot anything else apart from the Martin Coleman.
And that's what you use in the competitions?
Yeah, use that in competitions. I use it if I go hunting for pheasants or anything like that. Same setup, same bands, same everything. I don't change. I think that I see a lot of people who will come and say, "Let me have a go with your catapult. I'll be able to shoot it like you." And I say, "Yeah, but everybody's welcome. Have a go." And they'll go, "Oh, it don't fit my hand." And this is what I try and explain to people when they see all these beautiful catapults for sale. And it can do this, it can do that. If it don't fit and it don't fit your hand, don't even buy it. Just try something else. And once you do find a frame that fits your hand, keep with it. Don't swap and change. Oh, I'll try this one this week. I'll try this one. Stick to the one frame. It's like riding a bike. You will find it and it will come. That's all I keep saying to people when they come for lessons and that. And I just say, look, I know that you're hitting your hand and I know that you're getting 4 kicks and I know that it's hurting you, but you will find it and it will come to you. And if I can do it, honestly, anybody can have a go. It's just patience.
That's it. And, I've found that myself. I love getting new frames. I've got a few hanging up now in my shed. But I've witnessed firsthand what you've said there. I've bought myself a frame. I've picked it up and I've gone, I can't hold it. I get what you're saying on don't swap things. And, some people have opposite views where they say, actually try a few things out because you get to learn a bit more. And I do understand that because I feel like the more you do, the more you understand. For example, when I started cutting my own bands, it was only then that I truly started to understand tapers and my active length and all that sort of stuff. But the same goes for frames. There are frames which you'll pick up and you'll think, yeah, I'm okay with this. And there's other frames where you'll just go, do you know what? I can't even hold this. And I recently, I was a pinch grip since the beginning. It was only the end of last year I started shooting brace and now I am stopped. So, in my head, I want to stop. I want to stop all this trying out. I want to stop all this stuff. But there's something in me just thinking, I'm not settled yet. Just like you saying, when you know. And, and partially for the channel as well, trying new things out and doing a few reviews and stuff like that. I really enjoy that side of it. It's another side to the hobby, which is just, being able to explore all the wonderful bits and pieces we've got. But one thing that I've not got is a really nice natty. So, though a lot of people can make natties that are ergonomic and they fit the hand nicely, but the one that you've got there, and this is meant no disrespect, is a beautiful, beautiful frame, but it's got no curves, it's got no fancy, placement thing for your fingers. So, what is it about that you really like to shoot?
I think it's just, I mean, you couldn't get any more old school than that, could you? It's just a branch that's been taken from a tree and withered and whatever is done. And I think it's just like back to basics. Don't get me wrong, it's lovely to see some technical things that come out, but it's also good to see that the traditional part of it, the actual Y frame. I don't think you can. I don't think you can beat it. It's there's just something about it. I don't know if it's for the amount of time that I've had it, and that's the grip that I use. Does that work? Oh, well, that's it. I don't know. It was gifted to me by Joe Bottom's brother Nornie at a competition. I think that was in 2014. Never ever used another frame in a competition. That's all I use. And Martin, the man that did make it, I've been so good friends with him. Some of his work is absolutely, it's like glass. Like people will have a go and they'll go, "Wow, what, is that wood?" And I'll go, "Yeah, you know what I mean? It's good." But I also like when we go to bridge on a Sunday, like you said, we have some young lads that come down, and they'll shoot. I've seen them shoot from day one, and they've like you see them, and I'll say, "Whoa, hang on a minute, open your legs, stand your feet, make sure you stood this, make sure you stood that." And they'll be shooting sometimes, and I might walk past them and I'll lift their elbow, or I'll give them a kick on the leg and say, "Open your legs." And they'll say, "All right, Ian, all right." And it's so good that when they first come, they couldn't hit a barn door. And now I'm stood at side of them and they're saying to me, "Come on, old man, what are you shooting at?" "I'm going for that down there." And I think, yeah, I love it. Even if listen, all that part about are you as good as me and that, I've seen it all. I'm not really bothered, but I love the part where I see people shooting who's not being able to shoot. And within a month or a month and a half, they're on the cam. Ding, 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 ding. And they're like, and I said, "Tell you, it will come to you, but just concentrate on one thing, one band, one ball, one size, one distance, and then move back. Do whatever." Do you know what I mean? But yeah. That's why.
You know, and we all remember those days. I remember the days of not being able to hit a can at all. You know, I'd go out with sort of 50 ball bearings, hang my can up, and I maybe hit it 3 or 4 times. I'm thinking, I watch all these people online hitting these little spinners, and I can't even hit a can. I'm never going to be able to do it. And all of a sudden, you know, you're on 60s, and then you're hitting 40s. And, you know, I wish in a way I could go back to those days where I couldn't hit anything and do it all over again, because it really is enjoyable. So I can imagine watching other people do the same thing. You know, it must be really, really good to see, especially when they're on your shoot. And talking of shoots, you know, one thing that you do is the Sheffield shoot. So how often does that happen? You mentioned there before we started that it's a Sunday, so you're off today. So is that an every weekend sort of thing?
All it were, and he'll be laughing when all lads will be laughing at this one. All it were, it's like I said, everybody knows in Sheffield, everybody knows up north and that. If you want to come out and you want to have a day shooting with us, everybody's welcome. Every single person, from old to young, from millionaire to penniless. You don't need no wally wheels. We're all together. We're all as one. If we've got it and you need it, you can have it. Everybody will share the stuff. If you've got no, still come into it. I get people saying, "Ian, I'm a little bit shy on that." And I said, "Don't worry about it. You'll love it." Everybody will start talking to you. And before you know it, I get phone calls. "Where are you?" "Oh, I'm with John and Bill, me that you introduced me to last week. Thanks a lot, Ian, and we'll see you in a fortnight." So I've got some local woods where I go, and I always went down with Mick and rest of lads. I met some guys and they come over and they said, "Listen, we're not far from you, but there's a place at Sheffield that you might like also to come to." And we've got some private land. We've got a little stream through it. We must have got 1,500 targets, from little wasp spinners to leather spinners to tin cans to bread bins to old flasks that sung up to old work boots that sung up. Old bean tins at 55 yards, and yeah, it's a very, very special place in my heart. Leo, by the way, sorry Benji, but there'll only be certain lads that will understand this. I'm king of the bridge.
You sent me a couple of videos, and it looks a lot of fun. You know, when people think competition, the word competition usually goes side by side with competitiveness. But from what I've seen, you know, the photos and the videos and the way you've explained it to me, it's all about that fun. It's all about the coming together and having a good crack. And, you know, you can still have a bit of competitiveness. I mean, when you become friends with someone, there's always that banter. I've got it myself with people online and stuff like that. You're always wanting to beat your pals and all that good stuff. But, you know, it does definitely seem like it's more about having a good time more than coming home saying, "I'm the best."
Oh, listen, Benji, there's a certain target that we have. Mr. Urs and Nathan and Pablo, all the rest of the lads. This bean tin's hanging on a piece of string. It's about 50 yards away. So somebody will hit it, and we know which target they better hit. You don't need to be watching it, you know, and you go, "Oh, somebody's hit the bean tin." And I think the record's about 4 on the trot off a certain, 50 yards.
Yes.
And we can all be like shooting, and there might be one guy that he's hit it twice. And honestly, he can be on his third shot, really concentrating. If somebody walked past him, got booked, just missed him, move his arm out of the way. Do you know what I mean? This is, or give him a kick in shin or something. Do you know what I mean? And you can imagine it's a couple of certain words might leave his lips, but it's all good. Do you know what I mean? There'll be somebody cooking on fire, and nobody ever needs to ask or anything like that. There'll be somebody doing something, and before you know it, somebody turn around and it's a sausage sandwich or a can of beer or a can of pop. Here, Ian, I know I ain't seen you anywhere. Here, mate, this is yours, and I love it, mate. Yeah, it's a very special part of very special part of me.
And then, I know this won't necessarily be a thing in the Sheffield shoot, but there's a lot of talk about kind of restrictions and things like that, which, there's the online competitions. And I suppose when you go into the European Championships and things like that, they do put things in place. For someone like me that's never attended a competition, what are the usual sort of restrictions? Are there many things in terms of sort of ammo size, the bands, the pouches, things like that?
No. All we're trying to do is, I'll go more into it in a bit about the World Slingshot organisation that most countries are involved now because we're trying to get to Olympics. Is if we're all on the same size target and we're all on the same distance, then we can try and get that we're all on that. Then we can push the sport forward to show other people. So it'll be like darts or something like that, do you know what I mean? But when it comes to these competitions, it's just everybody's friendly, everybody will love you. There's no really regulations on anything. The only thing that we don't allow, you are allowed a paracord to hold the catapult to your hand, but you're not allowed a hand brace. That's it. You can shoot what size balls you want, apart from lead, I believe. And usually lads are on anything from 7mm up to 9.5 when they're actually in competition, shooting at the knockdowns, or if we have a paper round, that's it. You can, everybody's, there's not much difference really between the catapult sizes and everything. There's no restrictions on the gap size or the fork width or the length. The only thing you can't have is a rifle. That's it.
And I think, I can't remember who it was I was speaking to. It may have been Gaspar, but it may not have been.
Gaspar, what a guy. What a guy.
Such a nice guy. And it was really nice speaking to him. I'm not sure if it was him actually, but someone was saying about pit pouches. Maybe it's a fact that some people frown upon pit pouches. Have you come across that?
Pit pouch? Oh, is that the pouch where you have a clip to pull it then?
No, they've got, that was the one thing. So I know a few competitions don't like the clip thing with the trigger, but the pit pouches is where it's just a pouch and it's just got two little sort of ditches in it, two little divots.
No, everybody, you're allowed to use them. You're allowed to use them. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. The only thing that we don't want is more or less the wrist brace. Do you know what I mean? You'll have the paracord, but not the wrist brace as though you were having a Diablo. That's from day one. We've never allowed that.
And I suppose, I've recently started shooting slightly larger ammo. I'm using 10.5 steels at the moment. It's just, I just wanted to try it out. I used 8s for the longest of times, and I went to 9.5s. And then I wanted to give, the 11s a go. There was none available, so I tried the 10.5s. And what I can say is, I don't know how much of an advantage you'd have over shooting large ammo. Obviously, there's more surface area, so you're able to hit the target a bit easier. I know some people may say that, but what I've found is the smaller the ammo, the smoother and the nicer the ball travels. So I don't know.
I get a lot of stick on the bridge, should we say, because just for instance, if it could be a certain target and I'll hit it, and the 9.5s like really demolish it kind of thing. And the lad that's on the 7s and the 8s, I'll go, think, was that you? Was that a 7mm? So they call me if we get a new person come down, for instance, and the second we have some balls, and I'll try and give them some. Somebody will jump in first and say, "Don't take that old man's balls. They're all antique. They're all 9.5s." And it's cheating, like you said. It's a bigger distance, so when he hits the paper, it's not quite. It's easier for him because the ball bigger, mass ball, mass size. Yeah, I get it all the time, Ben. Yeah.
I mean, the thing for me is, and I think I'll probably end up going back down to 9.5s. Is I just like the way that they feel. I feel like I can hold it, a little bit better than I can the smaller ammo. The smaller ammo, especially like 7s, I really struggle because I like a thicker pouch, so I really struggle to feel the ball in my hand. So that's the main reason. But there is a lot of banter. Oh, you're using golf balls, and I've said it myself. When I was shooting the smaller ammo, and I was, messing around with a couple of people shooting larger ammo, was, oh, you're using golf balls, that's cheating.
Yeah, Mr. Hurst will be watching this. He'll be having a good laugh to himself because he always is on at me all the time. Oh, here he is, old man with his old 9.5s, look. And especially if we have a round on paper, he'll say, look at yours, yours has ripped it all the way across paper. It's because you're using them big old balls, do you know what I mean? Yeah, but I get it all the time.
Now, in terms of looking ahead to the future, what do you want to see from the hobby? What do you want to kind of see happen over the next coming years?
It's what we are going to see. We are going to see, because we're all going to work together, and we're going to make this into some sport that people are going to watch it on TV in future. I hope. I'd love to see it. So the World Slingshot organisation, every country is involved. There's a representative from each country. So what we're all trying to do is, when you do have a competition, whatever country you have it in, if you could hold it under the WSA rules, so you could have the day of your own shoot where you shoot cans, golf balls, knocking down whatever. But the part of your shoot that you have, if we could just have one part of the day where it was under a World Slingshot organisation, where it would bring everybody together, so we're all on one target, we're all on the same distance. Don't matter about the size ball. So when we get people saying who's the best, and because don't get me wrong, I love the crack part of it, and I love the happy, funny part of it, and all that. But if we want it to go further, we've got to be more professional about it. So it's no good. It's no good having 5 people from China shooting at golf balls in their final, and it's no good having English shooting at a paper target and the Spanish shooting at a piece of whatever. It's 3 different things. If we can bring it all to one and have different events also, this is what we're trying to do. So we need so many countries to help us join that we can get it to Olympics, things like this. I might be letting the cat out of the bag here, but hopefully, touch wood, the European Championships this year will be in France. Really looking forward to that. And the European Championship the year after, we think we're having him in England. So it's gonna, and if I have it in England, I've got some big ideas forward and some TV crews. I'm already in talks with people. Yeah, I'm already in talks with people at Sheffield now about with Sheffield City Council, trying to show them that if we have it at Sheffield, we can bring so many people into the country, and hopefully they're going to help us. So onwards and upwards. And
makes me want to get out and practice already. And this is something we're going to touch on in a minute, because I know in the questions there's a few people who've talked about how we get this into the Olympics. But as you mentioned earlier, there's also the other side of it. Like, when you watch the darts, you got the atmosphere and all those sort of things. And there's nothing wrong with having a bit of that as well. If we can get some channels or whatever it may be, if we can get around just the excitement this brings to people. How natural it is when people are out having a shoot, and the coming together we all have, even showing that aspect of it, it's gonna drive us further on, isn't it?
Yeah, it's especially the European competitions I've been to. I don't know how many years I've been going now, but this is a bit of a funny and bit of a story. We got invited to Belgium to a lovely man called Luke Drysdale, and he invited us to Belgium. And he got in touch with me, blah blah blah, on computer. Would you like to come to Belgium? There's a European Championships, or I don't know if it was the Europeans, but it was their competition. And I was like, got in touch with all lads. Listen to this, man. There's a bloke called in Belgium wants us to go. They have a competition. I said, "Sure, idiot, he's having your own." I said, "No, there's a big competition in Belgium. Will we going?" "Yeah, let's go." And I got in touch with him. When we got there, I was like, "Oh my God, look at this!" And in Belgium, they have clubs in Belgium, just like a darts team in a pub. I was like, wow. So like every Tuesday or every Wednesday, they meet at that club, they go to that club, and they all have a beer and they feed each other. And I'm like, oh God, if we could do this in England, it'd be absolutely amazing. But the most thing that we were a bit upset about is they've been doing it for like 20 years, something like that. So when we got there, and now I'm really big friends with him, and I keep in touch with a lot of Belgian people. You've probably seen Taylor, Filsner, Kelly, all people over there. They've been being on television over there trying to like push their sport forward. But most of all, what I'm trying to say is, when we got there, I said, "Excuse me, but why haven't we known about this before?" And he went, "We said we knew that you were all there." He said, "But we didn't want to invite you." What? He was so scared, Benja, of the British coming and acting in the wrong manner and being drunk. They didn't want to invite anybody.
It's madness.
It's craziness, isn't it, to think that people look at us like that. Well, he'll even tell you and how wrong he were. Do you know what I mean? And now it's like, yeah, Ian, you come in and bring all lads and that. So yeah, that were. I was glad that we did go and show these people that as UK sportsmen, we're not all like that. Do you know what I mean? We're not all drunken, rowdy people. I can be if I want to be like, but there's a place for everything, isn't there?
That's it. And especially when it comes to this hobby, everyone wants to be a representative in one way or another. I think anybody who wants this to move forward always wants to show face in the right way, and that, whether that's, what country you're coming from, or whether you're speaking to someone that, doesn't know anything about the hobby at all, you always want to try and put it in a positive light. So I definitely understand what you're saying there. So I've got some questions for you, Ian, and I'm sure you might have seen a couple of them on Facebook. And I cannot wait to hear some of these stories, because I want to just say quickly before we do go, I don't know whether some of them you're going to be aware of, or some of them are just people out of their mind completely asking really strange questions, because I can't tell the difference. But let's get on with some questions. Right. So the first one is by Darren Glenn Cook. So he wants to know who your favorite American is to have a morning beer with in Italy and knock off the tournament nerves. He's asking for a friend.
Yeah, and what a friend he is. When my hand on my heart, Benja, when I did know that it was going to come to Italy to the World Cup in 2018, and he phoned me and he went, "Are you going?" I went, "Yeah." And he went, "Well, I'm coming." And it wasn't so much, and then it ended up not being like going to the competition. It was more, I was going to meet my mate. You know what I mean? I know when I met each other, we were both smart. He's got his arms wrapped round me. I've got my arms wrapped round him, and his beautiful wife Sarah. They mean absolutely so much. We call them very regularly. Yeah, what a wonder! Listen, you need to get him on the den, mate, because the stories he's got, pal, are another world, brother. But yeah, his son and born. We definitely did knock a few a lemonade top shanty, should we say, before the competition even started, and the night before, and the day after, and the day before it as well. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Darren Glen Cup. Yeah, you know.
I'll add him to the list. The next one is by Laurie Valente, who I've had on the podcast with Moan. Shout out to you, Laurie. How does the community factor into your practice?
Well, I practice on bridge anyway, so I'm with the lads on the bridge. Is that what the question is? More or less?
I guess so, yeah. I mean, you know, for me, it's, you know, when I read that, what I would say from that is the amount of tips and advice I've received from friends. Obviously, is a bit different for you because you're a bit more experienced. But you know, when I've gone onto YouTube and I've watched lots of videos, I've asked questions on social media. But I'd say, in terms of practice, I've learned most from my friends, the people who I've become quite close with. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, it's like I said when we go to bridge and I see people. Just for instance, they're shooting a target which is in front of them, but they're not. Their body stance is not aimed at it. They might be like 4 foot off, like turned to the opposite direction. They'll say, "What are you aiming at?" And they'll go, "That." Then I say, "Well, turn yourself round then." Do you know what I mean? Or I'll give them a kick on shin, or when they're shooting like this, I'll go, "Get your arm up." You know what I mean? It's a lot of things are basic. Though I believe a lot of things. There's a lot of things that's basic that a lot of people forget, especially with this draw on. Especially, I see people shooting and they'll say, "I'm a straight," and they'll be like that, and I'll go, "No, get your arm up." Do you know what I mean? I'm a big believer in everything's got to be in a straight parallel line. That's all I really say to people when they ask me, and they'll say, "How do you aim?" And I'll just say, my usual line is, think that your granddad's given you a broom handle and it's got a 6-inch nail tied to end with a piece of elastic, and you're looking down it. That is what I usually try and say to people: straight line, parallel line. If you're shooting gangster, if you're shooting gangster, if you can see the bottom band over the top one, you're doing something wrong. Everything's got to be straight parallel lines. Yeah, I like the practice inside of it where we're all having a laugh and a ding dong, and somebody will be saying, "Here, I've just put 5 1-pence pieces up hanging on the bridge." Yeah, but if there's usually 5 of us in a line and we're all trying to shoot at these 5 1-pence pieces, then while you're like that, you'll find out that somebody will go, "Oh, you've just missed it." Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Perfect. So the next one, and I really hope I can pronounce his name right, is Maya Joban Putra, who I've spoken to on a couple of occasions. He's making himself some really nice frames, actually, so shout out to him. He wants to know what your favourite frame is and why. And then a little bit of an odd one. Do you like Marmite on your toast? I suppose I should explain what Marmite is to Americans, because I sent a picture over to my friend Mikey Paul Reddick, and he's like, "What is that?" But I don't know how to explain it. Really, it's just like this black tarry sort of yeast.
Beef yeast or something like that, should we call it? Yeah. No, there might be a few that laugh at this, especially from up Yorkshire. I'm a dripping man. We have dripping. What's Marmite? We have dripping. Yeah. So no, I don't like the Marmite, but big dripping fan. And the frame, like I said, honestly, I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of frames, but it's like I said, I can't see the point of swapping anything
if it works.
When I can't see point. Don't get me wrong. People say to me, "Have a go at this," and I'll have a go, and I'll go, "Yeah, it's lovely," and they'll say, and I'll say, "Yeah, I might buy myself one," and then next week I come, and I've still got it. I can't.
Really,
it's old, it's grimy, it's got muck off my hands into the grain. It is what it is. It's yeah. It means a lot to me, and the guy who made it, he's also a good friend. So yeah. Martin Coleman. Check him out. He probably won't make anything because he just does it when he wants. I've even said to him when he started making them, I went, don't even advertise them. Just everything you make, just phone me and say, I've made 5 here. I'll pay for them. I didn't even want anybody else buying one. But yeah, Martin Coleman. That's it.
Very nice. Very nice. So the next one's by Chris Foster. Shout out to Chris. He's been quite active on the Sling Den page recently. Do you think the sport's going to make the Olympics? If so, why? Or if not, why not? How would it be regulated? Would it be specific latex and frames? And would it be regulated more than normal competition? So I know we've touched on a couple of things here. But he makes a point there of, the latex and things like that. Do you think we'd all have to kind of go in and use the same latex? I like the fact that people use different things personally, but what do you think?
Yeah, I do. I also like it because when we shot in Italy and things like that, and I've shot with Chinese, and you see their catapults, and you look at it and you think, where are they reaching target with this? It looks like knicker elastic, my boxer short knicker elastic. You know what I mean? It's like 2 mil wide. And when I started speaking to some Chinese, and they said, listen, we're not bothered about how it gets there, how far it travels, as long as it touches that target and knocks it down, that's all they care about. They're not bothered about the power of it and all sorts. I mean, even some Spanish, I've seen them stand there and at the stance, ready to shake the shot at the target, and it's been 54 seconds before he's let go. So he stood like this, absolutely. It looks like a dog in a shop window, and he's not moving. And it's just because the elastic is so thin. And then you'll watch somebody else from another country just walk up, go like that, pull it back, and let go straight away. So there'd never be any regulations on the latex or anything like that, or the size of your gap in your fork or anything like that. The only thing that we will not allow is the hand brace. That's it. Hopefully, with the help of yourself, Ben, you're doing what you're doing, and everybody else that's really into sport, then why couldn't we push it forward? You know what I mean? If there's enough of us, if there is enough of us, and we're all in the sport, then if something come where we could all help each other to get the sport forward, then I think we all would, wouldn't we?
And what from your perspective, obviously you've been around the sport a lot longer than I have. Have you seen it change much in terms of, I know it's begun to become a lot more popular. There's a lot more brands out there now. There's a lot more makers, and everything's kind of coming together as a whole. But what have you seen kind of grow? What's that growth rate been like for you?
Just the amount of people that's getting into it, the amount of manufacturers there is now. Do you know what I mean? When I first started, my sponsor, Pete Hogan at Pro Shot, as everybody, and Moni's team, do you know what I mean? We're all the Pro Shot lads. It's like you see advertisements now for catapults, like, wow, who are they? No disrespect to some people that I've seen on Sling and things like that, Amiga and all these names that are coming out, and I think, wow, who are they? Yeah. It's good for me to see another person coming into it, another manufacturer coming into it, because it shows me you've got to be doing it. Somebody's got to be buying them, haven't they? So the more people that buy them, the more people get into the sport, the more we can hopefully all come together and push it forward.
And one thing that I kind of, I'll touch on here because I can see it from both sides is, when we see all these makers coming up, and, I do believe that, copycats and things like that shouldn't be allowed, or if someone's copying someone else's design, they should get credited for it and all that sort of stuff. But because it's, and this is a conversation I've had with a couple of people, is because it's a simple Y shape, it's going to become more and more and more difficult to make something truly original. And I think Moan said it in our episode, the more makers we got on board, the better. That just goes to show that more people are getting involved. More people are going to want to buy more frames. And, it only helps in the long run. And, as I said, I do believe that originality and someone who creates a piece of art, they should get their dues for it. They should be, known for it. But at the same time, I want more makers. I want more people to come up and get involved, because that's another aspect that's going to grow our sport.
Don't get me wrong. This conversation usually comes up in pubs when the shoot's been done at the end of the day, and we might have got 30 or 40 people all sat down. And before you know it, and I'll say it anyway, you get somebody saying, "Have you seen that, what he's done? He's copied my catapult." And I said, listen, I know he has. But it's like you've said, Benja, it is just a why, isn't it? And that's all it is. Now, this copycat thing, it's like you said, I don't mind. I wouldn't, but I don't make myself. So on one side of it, I could understand, like somebody like John Jeffries, bless him. Some of his work is absolutely, I mean, catapults with mammoth million tooth in it, with a tooth from a mammoth. Do you know what I mean? A million years old, and he's sticking it in a catapult frame. And then you get somebody who's copied his frame in another country, for instance. Now, to me, I'd be a little bit upset, but then on the other hand, I'd be thinking, well, I must be doing something right for somebody to copy my work.
Yeah.
And then I think to myself, it wouldn't have hurt for that man to say, listen, I've made a catapult, it's a lot like John Jeffries is.
Yeah.
So long as when he's advertising it, I suppose it still hurt me that somebody's copying my catapult, but at least he's had the decency to say, I've taken this idea from John, or whatever.
Exactly. That's just it, isn't it? And I know a lot of people will take it, some makers probably will be really kind of pissed off. But then on the other side of it, you should take it as a compliment. Someone has looked at it and thought, geez, that's amazing, I want to have a go at that. So I can see both sides, but I suppose I'll never truly understand because I'm not a maker. And, I know all the hard work that goes into it, and it must be frustrating at times.
I think another part of that also is there's two lots of makers also. There's the maker who is a catapult shooter who wants to shoot that catapult he's made and maybe make his friend one or something like that, yeah? And then you get the one that don't even come to a shoot, don't even really shoot a catapult, but they're selling catapults for the money side of it, and that's what I don't like, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? You've got like people making them, and they're only making them for the money part of it, and they're not making them for the part of it. I've made this, I'm going to use it, I am going to sell it to somebody. Do you know what I mean? I think there's the manufacturing side of it for the money, and then there's the manufacturing side of it for the love of the catapult, should we say?
Yeah, I definitely understand where you're coming from. And, we see different people doing different things, don't we? Some makers, you'll see them at shoots. Some makers you'll see online helping new people. Some makers you won't see at all, and they're the ones where you're kind of like, well, where's this come from?
This is it, Benji. This is exactly it, pal. Exactly, mate. Yeah.
And I think if you're doing it for the right reasons, again, it's only going to boost everything that we're trying to do as a community. And I think, like I said, Moan said it himself, he loves seeing new makers come along. And it is hard to make something original, but I'm waiting on getting myself a bandsaw. I've got a couple of forks that I've got here that's ready to kind of go down. And I'm really, really excited about that. And it's just another aspect to our hobby, So hopefully, all that sort of negative sides where people are saying, "No, copycat," I think it'll always be around. But I do enjoy seeing, like you said, there must be a need for it. If all these people are starting businesses or starting up, whether it be bands or whatever it may be, there's a need for it. Otherwise, they wouldn't exist.
It's like, years ago, there was a catapult competition, Indonesia, I think it was. And I got in touch with him. Great to see what you're doing, lads, because to me, this is worldwide. It's, you know what I mean? The more we get into it, the better it is. And I saw these poor people in Indonesia, and I went, "What are you using as your prizes?" And they went, "What do you mean? You give prizes away at your competitions?" Yeah. What are you giving away? We have nothing. We have nothing to give because we have nothing to give them anyway because they just couldn't afford it. So I got in touch with Pete Hogan. I think we sent £1,000 worth of catapults to him in Indonesia. I've got the video still where the postman, they're all waiting for the postman. Must be about 50 of them who's going to have this competition, and all you can hear him shouting is, "Postman here, Ian Jones is here. Oh, Peter Hogan, look, wow!" And they're opening these catapults, and they had such a good time. And it hurt me that a fortnight after, I saw somebody that had been to that shoot had copied one of Pete's catapults straight away, and I thought, yeah.
Yeah, it's that side of it, isn't it? That's the negative side of it. And you know, we all try and do good, and it is a shame when someone takes advantage of that. The next question we got is by Andy Maund, and you've kind of answered this already. But when are you planning on doing a big indoor international competition like the Euros here in the UK?
Hopefully, because what people don't understand. All right, we have these little competitions sometimes in beer gardens and things like that. But when it comes to Europeans, I don't want to be putting a competition on that's not going to be up to the level of where it needs to be, Benji, if it's going to be a European competition, if that. You know what I mean? You've got a lot of people coming a long way who saved a lot of money. And like when I go to these competitions abroad, I use it as my holiday. And it's same for them. It's same for a lot of people. They work hard, they save the money, they want to come to the competition. They don't want to be in, like we've done it before, of course, when we first started. They don't want to be in a beer garden, Benji, shooting at a tin can, swinging off a piece of string. You know what I mean? Everything. If we want this to proceed, go forward, then we've got to show the professional side of it, where we're shooting World Slingshot organisation targets, their sizes, and it will be professional. So yeah, I'm hoping with a help of a lot of you guys in England that we can do it. So hopefully, and you can try and win me, mate. I know you've tried before, pal. One day, lad. Yeah. So hopefully next year, pal. Hopefully. France this year.
France, and I suppose, you know, when you're looking at like France and Italy and things like that, they're the sort of benchmark. You know, you go to those, you see how they operate, and then you go, right, if I'm going to do something, it either needs to be here or here.
And this is it, Benja, and this is exactly it. When you've seen the videos, you've seen the pictures. Especially in Italy, the way I find it absolutely brilliant. There's like even just people like little jobs that they've got, but they've got that job, and it might be to stand at the gate to watch the member come in, and he needs to look at your membership. It needs to look at your number. So as you walk up, he opens the gate, has a look at your number, and points you in the right direction of the lane that you're going to stand in. And then when you get to your lane to stand in, there's a scorer stood behind you on each lane. You know what I mean? There's somebody who's ready with the stopwatch. There's a man with the microphone. I love it. Yeah, love it.
Perfect. The next one's by Ethan Martin. Shout out to Ethan at Tennessee Slanging. What do you practice throughout the week to prepare yourself for tournaments? Have you got a routine?
No, I don't anymore. I just I've got this big thing about you can do too much, and I think that and I know this is true. I definitely know it's true because I've done it myself. You can go for a practice and you start missing, and you think, "What am I doing wrong?" You're not doing nothing wrong. You're just having a bad day. Go home. Try again tomorrow. Because if you stop at that target and you carry on trying to hit it, you'll end up finding something that you're not doing wrong, but you believe that you're doing wrong, and you'll change it. And once you've changed it, you're going to start over again. I'm a great big believer in that. I think at times you're just having a bad day. I'll go back tomorrow and have a go. And then you can walk up to the same target that what you went to the day before, get 10 balls in your hand and go, ding, 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 and go, eh? But I did exactly the same as yesterday.
Exactly.
So I don't really. I'll have a little. What we usually do at these competitions is we have a practice area. So you're allowed to have a bit of practice first. But if I do go to the practice area, it's more of all these international people will tell you I'm the one that will go, "Ooh, you nearly missed. You nearly hit it." I'm the one that has the crack with everybody. So I'll do like a bit of a pushing and a show. I say, "Come on, we're all here," and try and make it a bit more laughable, should we say, and not as serious. But when it comes to the serious part, I think you can do too much practice. Just enjoy it more.
Well, it's like for me, it kind of happened naturally for me because I don't get loads and loads of times to go out and shoot. To be honest, on occasion I'll get a good hour or two, or I'll get to go out on a mooch. But for me, my practice is before I start work. So I've got a little area here where I work, and I can actually, hang my catching it up, and I can have a couple of shots. But I only get maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. And it's exactly as you said there. It's short and sweet. And some days I'll just have a bad day, and it still puts me in a bad mood, just because it's natural. I'm just like, I have a bad day. I go to work and I'm in a mood for the first hour of my shift, and people are like, "What's wrong with him?" And it's like, because I just had a bad day shooting. And then there's other days where I go, I've hung the thing up in exactly the same place. I've done exactly the same thing, and I've hit it every time. And it's like, but those short and sweet sessions for me is, as you said there, you build yourself a bad habit as well. If you stood there missing, well, there's something
and
not quite right.
Then you're self-consciously thinking, why have I missed it?
Right, okay, well, it must be my elbow, so I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do, and then you go, well, it must be the frame. The frame something must have happened to the band, something must have happened to the clips, or, you start building up all these questions in your head, and the reality of it is, like you said, you're just having a bad day, and for me, a lot of that is mentally, if I've got other stuff going on, or I'm tired, or I'm a little bit stressed, or I've got a lot to do at work, sometimes it's just, I'm not relaxed enough to go out shooting, and that's all it can be sometimes.
It's like, I always have my Kai on me, and I'm lucky enough that I'm go to a lot of. Sometimes I do go to a lot of different places through the day, and sometimes if I might be, like you said, just parked up doing nothing, and I'll think, well, a bit of land there. I'll just have 2 minutes, and then again, I've been to somewhere and I've gone to collect a skip or something like that, and the bloke's run out of building. Run out of building, and he went, "You're that bloke off YouTube, aren't you? Hang on a minute. I'll go and get a can out at shop, and I put my welding glove on. Will you video it and shoot it out of my hand from down?" So it's usually most days I'll fire a couple of balls, should we say? That's about it.
Nice. So the next one's by the man himself. Big shout out to John Jeffries. How many people at a guess would you say you've introduced to the sport? So that's the first one. And then the second one is, how many espresso martinis does it take to miss a flight? Can't wait to hear this one.
Yeah,
the espresso martini story.
Yeah, the amount of people I fetch to the sport is thousands, even to the point where I was working away last week. I was in a pub and there was some gentlemen talking about they'd been on a shoot all day, and they just started talking. They went, "Do you shoot in?" I said, "Yeah, shoot a catapult." And then my boss is going, "Here we go again. He's got his phone out, showing people the catapult." And it's a bit of a laughing thing between me and my boss. He says, "Everything's catapulting, everything. Everybody you talk to, thousands of people, mate. That's all I ever talk about. Yeah, thousands." The espresso martini escapade. I don't know. I can't remember what year it were, mate. I think we were going. Yeah, we were going to Italy. Me and John Jeffries, my wife, a couple of other lads. I said to John, Have you ever had an espresso martini? He went, what are they? I went, I'll show you. Anyway, I showed him several times, Benji. Several, to the point where somebody went, he's playing there yet? I went, it'll be there in a bit. Get another two. Anyway, we had another two. Better go for playing. Seats number, we're off. We're walking down through airport and that. I went, it can't be that plane because it looks like they're shutting front door. Anyway, yeah, we missed it. So, but the good thing about, the funny part about it is there was another 15 people that had missed it. So it weren't really our fault. They'd said that it were at gate blah blah blah, and then as we got to gate, they said it weren't at that gate. It were another gate. And these airports are that big; it takes you like half an hour to get from one side to the other, doesn't it? So by the time we got there, they were like, "That's bye, you've missed it." So John, my wife, and one of the other lads were sat on the floor like, what we're going to do. I remember espresso martinis, John's in a eight state, he's head checking up. I went, don't worry about it. I run off and left him, went straight back down to the bar, went past the espresso martini bar, went to another flight company and went, I know there's a flight in 5 hours, but it's at another airport further up in I'll book us all in and we'll get on flight in 5 hours. So by the time John had come walking down with his bag, like really wounded, I'm back at Espresso Martini Bar with another one in my hand saying, sit back down, we're going in 5 hours, we've got plenty of time left, yeah. Yeah, so, we did miss the plane, but the Espresso Martinis were really good.
And let me guess, what did you do with those 5 hours? A few more espresso martinis?
Yeah, I was straight back down, me, Benji. All lads will tell you, I was straight back down. John's like, no. I'm saying, sit down, John, it's okay. Don't worry about it. We're just going to be 5 hours later than what we were before. So, yeah.
Perfect. Well, there we go. Shout out to John Jeffries. Kerry Sandlin, what is your preferred method of band attachment for accuracy? Wrap and tuck, clips, plugs, top knots, or other? Nice, simple wrap and tuck.
Wrap and tuck. That's the only way I know. And there'll be people who's going to watch this from Sheffield going, he don't even band it up himself. He tucks it to somebody and says, here, put me that on. Yeah, so, wrap and tuck.
Perfect. So the next one is by Jose Guerrero. So shout out Jose. With new latex hitting the market left and right, what is your preferred band, thickness, and taper? And as a competition shooter, what kind of mindset do you need to have stepping up to the shooting line?
Don't get me wrong. I like to have a couple of espresso martinis first before I stand on the line. Otherwise, it looks like a shitting dog, mate. I'm on line, I'm wobbling and what. So yeah, just a couple of bevies first. And as I've got more into competitions, don't get me wrong, I'd love to win. I'd love to. But for me, just being there, having a laugh with like-minded people. Don't get me wrong, when I say this, I really genuinely mean it. I don't really care who wins. I'm more happy that I'm there and do you know what I mean? That's me. Big smile on my face. I'm there. Okay, if I win it, I win it. If I don't, we've always got next year, haven't we? Just enjoy it most and try and relax. My band is 2015 taper, BSB 5.5.
Nice. The next one's by Andy Lowe. He'd love to know your thoughts on a pre-shoot routine, breathing methods, timing from draw to release, and do you focus on the sight or the target when aiming?
When I'm shooting at a target, whichever, if I'm hunting or I'm on target, finger and thumb grip for the ball, down the band, and this is where I am. Exactly when I pull back and my elastic stretches, and I get that little bit of a gap between the wood and the elastic, just there where my fingernail is. That's my aiming point. So I'm like that, more or less.
Perfect.
Back to the breathing and everything else. I just slow yourself down. Especially when I shot last time in Belgium when we come second at the European team event. It was the longest that I'd ever taken to shoot 6 balls, but I had a few espresso martinis, so I were more really like, yeah, that's okay, yeah, that's okay. But I ended up shooting very well, like, so maybe I do need to calm myself down a bit and slow down a little bit more. But I'm a big believer about the release. It's all about the release.
Perfect. Charlie Swafford, how many 8mm does it take to fill a pint jar?
Does he know the answer?
I don't know. This is what I mean. I don't know whether there's a story behind this. I said some of them are a bit bizarre. I mean, I don't know. I might have to try it out.
A pint pot? Got to be 2,500 these, surely be.
Yeah, 8mm. I would say so.
Yeah, like I said, a bit too small for me, Paul. I'm an antique. I'm the old antique ball smasher with a 9.5s.
Nice. And the next one, or the last one, should I say, is by Marco Brunetti, who I know is a good friend of yours. Do you think that slingshot is a sport that unites and that WSA is a great starting point for making it an Olympic sport?
Marco, my old pal, this man Benja, an outstanding promoter for the slingshot world. He's done so much. A lot of hard work from behind the scenes. The World Cup that he, don't get me wrong, everybody helped him, and he's got a lot of good people around him, and I think that's why it worked as good as what it did in Italy. And we can do it with the help of others. And with the WSA, the World Slingshot Organisation, all coming together as one, trying to bring everybody as one group, just to try and get it to the Olympics and push the sport forward. I think it can be done. Everything can be done, can't it? With help of others, Benji, if that makes sense.
That's it.
But, Mr. Brunetti himself is an ambassador for slingshot shooting, mate. He's one for the list on your sport, mate. I don't know anybody. Well, all right then. Him and a lot of other people have put a lot of their own time and effort into pushing the sport forward, and not for anything else apart from trying to push the sport forward. Not for any financial gain or anything like that, just for the love of the sport. I've spent thousands of pounds, me, Benji, being all. I'm not in it for money. I'm not in it. People said to me, "Why haven't you made your own catapult and sold it and made? Yeah, this is what Skipman uses, and everybody will buy it." No, I'm not interested in for money. I'm interested in getting all lads out, making sure that we're all right with each other, and just building the sport together to what it could be. Hopefully.
That's a very good answer. And I think, one thing is, when we're talking about Olympics, it has to be set in a certain amount of countries. And because it is a relatively inexpensive sport, there's nothing saying that we can't do that.
This is right. This is it. Yeah, this is it.
If we can get the amount of popularity that we've got here in the UK or the States or Italy, Spain, if we can try and get that, and I know some of Asia, there's the Chinese and stuff like that, where there's a lot of fantastic shooters there, but there's all these other countries which, they may be hiding under a rock. There may be some fantastic shooters, but they're just not brought to the forefront. And I think the more countries we can get involved, and these competitions like we've got with the Euros and stuff like that. The more countries that we can get, the more representatives from each country. I think that's going to be the biggest thing for me as well.
And this is it, Benja. We all need to be in one place, don't we? So the World Slingshot organisation has been set up that these people can all come to one place. So this is what it's all about. But hopefully we'll get there. It might be a few years to come, but we've got to start somewhere, haven't we? It might not be straight away. There might be things that we need to learn. But if we're all there together, we'll learn it all together. And if the Olympic officials say you need to do this, then we'll do it. It might take us a bit of time, and then they might say to us the year after, well, you haven't done this, but now you need to do something else. We'll do it and keep pushing it forward. And with the help of people like yourself, Marco Beretti, and everybody else who's really into the sport for the love of it and not for the financial gain of it, I can see it being a wonderful spot. I'd love to see it. I mean, when I go to Italy, they have their own. I go to the festival in Italy, and they have their own catapult competition in the square, in the city centre, where like there's hundreds of people there. The atmosphere is brilliant, and it gets really busy. So my wife said to me one year, she said, "I'm a bit tired. I'll go back to the hotel. See you in a bit." Went back to the hotel. She shouted at me when I walked through the door. She went, "It's on every channel on TV." I went, "You are?" She went, "You can't get away from it, look." And at every single channel on the TV, it was all that. And it was really good for me to be sat there, and every time I pressed it, there were a kid with a catapult. I was like, yeah!
That sounds amazing. Really, really good. Well, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for coming on, mate. I've really enjoyed this conversation. I learned so much from all these people coming on. And I knew before we started talking, I'd get a lot of, my questions answered by you. But before we do go, I want to leave you with a chance just to give anyone a shout out. I know you got a lot of people behind you, support you, and help you do all the wonderful things you do for this community. So like yours.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for invite, Benja. Love to see what you're doing, because yet again, it's another place for people to come and see what's happening. You've got your own thing happening, and it's good to see people coming on, answering their questions, asking the questions that I love it. I think it's great, and it's also somewhere else where people can come and look. And this is what it's all about, and getting more people into it. Like you said, I've got a lot of people that if it weren't for them, I wouldn't have got a clue what I would have doing, mate. Like I said, I started just shooting at wood with our mate, going for a walk. I went to Chatsworth, did that competition at Chatsworth, won it, and there were a little midget bloke outside of me called Mark Jumbo Willis. With my hand on my heart, Benja, he don't need to phone me and I don't need to phone him. If he knows there's a competition at the other side of the world, I know that he's going, and he knows that I'm going, and together we'll be there. The amount of targets and the amount of money he must have spent, Benja. Right, let's have a go at making these knockdowns. I've seen them, what they're doing in Europe. I can make them. Right. And then he'll come and see me next week. Look what I've made. And I've even made it remote. Look, knockdown targets. He's done so much. Honestly, mate, when we have these competitions, he's the one that comes in the van. And there's everything in the back of the van. Because what people don't realise is all these targets, all the netting, all the safety stuff, all the balls, or just everything that goes along with it. Who looks after it? Where does it go? It doesn't pop up. Do you know what I mean? And he's the man. Anything we need, we just say, we'll get him to make it us. And he'll make it. And then next time we come, he's done it. And we've got a gallery range now. Oh, wow. Pegs sticking to the floor, and then you'll be doing something. He'll go, hang on a minute, there's a proper piece of steel. It measures bang on, and you like click, click, and everything's like clicked and pinned together. And yeah, we're really lucky. I think we've got 7 lanes, a 7-lane gallery. So we can set that anywhere, set it up, garden fairs, country fairs, and any money that we've made, we've put into the United Kingdom Slingshot Association pot. So if we need anything to do other shows, all the money goes back in there. Yeah, we've got a few. We've got Doncaster Racecourse this year. We've got some game shows to go to. It's all happening. But if it weren't for him, I wouldn't be where I am now. I must just shout out to my wife. Thanks, Lee, for all the people that you've invited to your house and you've fed, you've washed them. There'll be people watching this now, honestly, Benji, going, yeah, I've been on that settee. I've been on that floor. I've had that breakfast. An amount I've made. But we have, in England, lost 3 catapult shooters over the years since we've been doing it. So I would like to give them a shout out first. Andrew Jones, AJ, God bless you, mate. Lovely kid. Died a few years ago. Richard Burton, he was another good lad, did Outfit Sport, unfortunately died. And one of my mates, Darren Simpson, not long ago, passed away. So, yeah, I'd just like for everybody to remember them people. I'm just looking at a list here. I've got all Doncaster lads, all Newcastle lads that used to come down. Andy Mattis, he come down from Newcastle before you know it. He's saying, right, I'm coming to Belgium with, I'm coming to Italy with. He's another one, but he don't really get into it as much now. He's got a girlfriend, Benji. I think that's what's happened. We'll be laughing at. Chatsworth House, if it weren't for Chatsworth House holding that first ever competition, I don't think I'd have really got into it as much as I could. So I'd like to thank Gary Moxon and his mum who have been running that stall at Chatsworth since the early 80s. Some at London, God, there's more names here than what I could ever think. Mr. Buckley, you know, don't you? Carl Ladd, Gamekeeper John. I mean, if it weren't for Gamekeeper John, a lot of people in England would be shooting, mate. The amount of videos that kid put up when he first started doing them, mate. What an ambassador for sport he were. And he's into his fishing diving. Good luck with John and John Palfrey. All Welsh lads. Lucky 7, Kev. I speak to him regularly on phone. Benja, the PFS master. Oh, not many, mate. Yeah, Kev. Lucky 7, Kev. John Webb. Mick and Nina. John Morton, Spanker, Oatse, Donk. There are going to be loads that I do miss, and I do apologise if I do miss them. Belgium, Kelly, Taylor, Akul, Mama, all them people. If you could go there, Benji, and see, honestly, that in Belgium, that every week when the season's on, and it's like, you go to their pub and when you walk in pub and there's a full range,
like the darts and the Skittles.
It's like going to a Yorkshire working men's club and saying, right, we've come to play the away. Do you know what I mean? And when you walk in, there's food and sandwiches, and it's if it weren't for them people, really good. I mean, we had competitions in pub car parks. I'm just looking at some of them now. Norton Aerodrome, a disused RAF base. How the hell did I get that? I ain't got a clue. Concourse Sports Centre, Manatop Boxing Gym. All lads at Sheffield, Andy Lee, Krog, Nathan, Erste, but remember I'm the king of the bridge. And then all Italy lads, Grimberg, all lads in Harrogate, when we have these competitions in Harrogate. What a place that we found. It's totally amazing. And another lovely set of lads up there, Camp Bob lads, Big John and Gary Elmer Fudd. I'm lucky to have all these people behind us that you only need to phone them and say what we're doing. If we're having a shoot, you're having it up here, and if you know what I can do. Some Americans, Scott Fitzpatrick and Sissa, Darren and Sarah, Mona, Matthew Newman, Nathan Masters, all them people. It's been a pleasure. As you know, Benji, I've met these people that everybody wants to meet. And it's such a privilege to meet these people. Sarah Scold, love your sister. Italy, changed my life forever, Benj. Really, with my hand on my heart, mate. Gianluca, his mum and his dad made me feel so welcome. I get very emotional when I think about it. I've never been to a place where people treat people with so much respect. It's like going to another world, Benji, honestly. It's like a place where you don't see trouble, you don't. When I go, I'm just so happy. And I'd like to thank everybody in Gualdo for that. Marco Beretta, Simone, all lads, thank you very much. And from my hand on my heart, if I can ever help anybody with a catapult or you're fed up and you need to get out, give us a call. And there's always somebody for you to have a walk out with and have a good day. Thank you very much, Benji, for the opportunity. And I hope that there'll be loads of people saying he hadn't shouted me and that. I do apologise. I've got a list here, and if I've read them wrong, I've read them wrong, and probably some I have missed. I am sorry. Still your friend.
No, that's beautiful, mate. You said a lot of nice things there. Big shout out to you. And again, thank you for coming on. And again, guys, if any of you are interested in any of the shoots that Ian does, I'll put the links in the description below. So give that a click and it'll take you to the website where you can find out all the information.
Yeah, we've got the United Kingdom Slingshot Association website is on Google. You can find it. There is stuff on there. We are trying to promote it even bigger and better, and just stand by us, and if you can help out. If you're interested, come along.
There we go.
Thanks, Ben, pal.
Yeah, no worries. So hopefully I'll see you soon, pal. Take
All
care.
the best, Benji. Bye-bye.
So, guys, there he is, Ian Jones, the skip man himself. I really enjoyed speaking to Ian. Hopefully I can get myself along to a shoot, have some fun with him very, very soon. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Also, you can now become a member of the Sling Den. Have a look, go through YouTube on your desktop, and there's a load of different things. There's multiple questions, so you can ask multiple questions to the guests. You can send in a picture of your frame, and I'll talk about that frame with the guest that's on. So if you've got a frame that you really, really love, whether you made it yourself or you got it from someone else, you want me to discuss it with a guest, there's a new feature to the Sling Den. So become a member and you can be part of that. Anyway, guys, Sunday, it's early. I've got a long day ahead of me. I'm hopefully going to get some time to go out shooting. Hope you do too. I'll catch you in the next one.